Think about a number you've been chasing, a savings goal, a salary, a milestone that you quietly told yourself will mean you finally made it. Now imagine the day you actually hit it. For a lot of people, the first time their money crosses into six figures, that first 100,000 feels exactly like that. After years of saying no while everyone around you say yes, of moving money aside every month, of watching the number climb so slowly, you sometimes wonder if it was even moving at all. You actually get there, and it feels like breaking the tape at the end of the month. So let me say this clearly right up front. That is a real achievement, and you should absolutely celebrate it. But here's the part nobody tells you. That finish line you just crossed is actually a starting line, because what you do in the next 12 months matters more than almost everything you did to get here. This is the exact moment that quietly decide whether the 100,000 becomes 250, a million, and beyond, or whether you're sitting in the same spot 5 years from now, wondering why nothing has changed. And the thing that decides it isn't a market crash or a bad stock peak. It's a soft, reasonable sounding voice that shows up the second your balance starts looking healthy. So today, I'm going to show you the trap and the simple order of operation that protects everything underneath it. Real quick before we get into it. If this is already useful, do me a favor. Tap the like button and subscribe if you want more plain English money breakdown like this one. It's genuinely the easiest way to have this reach the next person who needs it, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Okay, let's talk about the bars. Here's how the trap works and why it's so sneaky. The moment your balance looks pretty good, something shifts in your brain. The voice shows up, and it's not a reckless voice. It's calm, it's reasonable, it's persuasive. It says to you, you've earned this. You've driven the old car long enough. You deserve a nicer place. Go on, treat yourself. You can afford it now. That voice has a name. It is called lifestyle inflation. And it's the single fastest way to stall everything you've just built. And here's what makes it so dangerous. It doesn't feel like a mistake at all. It feels like a reward. I felt it myself, right? Every time my income ticked up, my spending quietly crept up right alongside it. Like the nicer lunches, like the nicer clothes, nicer dinners out. None of it felt extravagant in the moment. Each individual stuff felt completely reasonable. And the thing I didn't notice for a long time was that even though I was still saving, I was saving a smaller and smaller share of what I made. My income was climbing, my savings rate was quietly sinking at the same time. And I was measuring myself by what I earned, not by what I actually kept. So let me show you how sneaky the math is, because it's the entire trap in one example. Picture someone earning 60,000 a year, saving 6,000 of it. That's a 10% saving rate. Solid. 5 years later, you've done well with your life and your income doubles to 120,000. But you keep saving the same flat 6,000. Suddenly, that same amount is only 5% saving rate. That income double and your saving rate got cut in half. And that entire gap just leaked quietly into lifetime. Nice or everything on paper, they look far more successful, but their actual financial position barely moved. It just got more expensive to maintain, and that right there is exact how people earning great money still end up living paycheck to paycheck. And this isn't only something that happens to people scraping by. Survey data from US Federal Reserve suggests even high earners today tend to save a smaller share of their income than they did a decade ago. The trap catches the successful too. So remember this one line. Your net worth scales with what you keep, not the number in your offer letter. Okay, so why do we do this? Even when some part of us knows better, a lot of it comes down to status. You see, humans are wired deeply in our evolutionary programming to signal our rank to the rest of the tribe. And in the modern world, that shows up as a visible marker of success. The right postcode, the recognizable car, the logo everyone knows outside. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Looking wealthy and being wealthy are often two completely different things. In fact, research suggests something genuinely counterintuitive. You see, people who earn less often spend a bigger share of their take-home pay on visible status symbol than truly wealthy do. Spending to look rich is very often the exact thing that stops people from becoming rich. And so much of it is status spending we don't even question. Think of it this way. When you buy a designer top with a giant logo splashed across the front, purely for the name, you're basically advertising that brand for them. Except that they pay you. You pay them for the privilege of being their working billboard. And when you frame it like that, I know it stings a little, doesn't it? Now, I I want to be very clear here. I'm not here to tell you never to enjoy your money. That's not the point here. And in fact, the video I made 2 weeks ago specifically advised on how to use your money to improve your life after investing and putting a comfortable cushion aside. So this is completely a non-judgmental thing because this pool is close to universal. Almost all of us feel it. The point here is simply to spend on purpose. So before any big upgrade, ask yourself one honest question. Is this buying me a life I actually want, or just a life that looks good to other people? Because status spending is usually a brutal trick. You're liquidating your future security to buy approval from people who, honestly, are mostly too busy worrying about their own image to really notice yours. Okay, so you understand the trap and you protected yourself from that voice. Now, what do you actually do with the money you're keeping? This is where most people get it backward, right? They rush straight into exciting part, first picking things, watching charts, and they skip the boring foundation that has to come first. And the order genuinely matters more than any single step. First, kill any high interest debt, credit card, personal loans, anything with a double-digit interest rate. I know paying off your debt is the least exciting sentence in all of personal finance. But the math is brutal and simple. There's no point chasing a 10% return in the market while bleeding 20-25% on a credit card. You'd be losing money faster than you could ever grow it. And paying off your high interest debt is one of the only true guarantee wins out there. It's like locking in a return equal to the interest rate, completely risk-free. Okay? Second, be a buffer. You see, just as I stated in my earlier video 2 weeks ago, 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. So it is somewhere safe and easy to reach. Honestly, I don't like the term emergency fund. It sounds like you're bracing for disaster. I prefer to think of it as a quick solution fund. Its entire job is to turn a real crisis into a mild inconvenience. The car breaks down, the boiler dies in the coldest week of the year, you lose your job, and none of it becomes a catastrophe because you just handle it with the cash you set aside. You see, that buffer is also what stops you from ever having to sell your investment at the worst possible moment. And only then do you invest. This is where most of your growth will eventually come from. Quick honest note here. This is a general education, not personalized financial advice. Investing doesn't replace the work you do today. Think of it as a second engine humming quietly in the background while you focus on getting genuine great at what you actually do. When you do invest, the biggest lever isn't finding some genius guy. It's keeping more of what you earn by being tax smart. So use the tax advantage account available to you wherever you happen to live, because every country has its own version. The investment inside of them can be identical, but you hand far less over to the tax authority across the years. Same investment, better wrapper is one of the easiest wins in all of finance. And if there's one piece of free money to grab before anything else, it's an employer match. If the employer will match your retirement contribution, take every last bit of it. I watch people opt out of this, and genuinely it makes me wince because it's closest thing to free money that exists. If they had $1 for every dollar you put in, that is an immediate 100% return on that caution. And that's before your investment have done a single thing. Turning that down is like turning down a pay raise. You can watch this video to learn more about tax advantage investment accounting in the United States. Now, here's the part that breaks people's brain because it runs against everything else life teaches you. In almost every area of life, more effort means better results. Want to get fitter, you train harder. Want to learn a language, you study more. Effort in, result out. Investing is the only strange place where the opposite tends to be true. The more you tinker, the more you tweak and optimize and try to find your way to a better return, the worse you're likely to do. Constant activity, jumping in and out, chasing whatever is hot, quietly destroys returns compared to simply buying broadly and just wait. This is what people call the boring middle of building wealth. It's a long, glamorous stretch where it feels like nothing is happening. The numbers crawl, and the temptation to do something, anything to speed it up, gets really loud. But your only job in this space is to not interrupt it, automate your deposits, and then, as hard as it sounds, just leave it alone. This is exactly what Munger was pointing at. You see, Charlie Munger is the investor who helped build Berkshire Hathaway alongside Warren Buffett, and he was once asked about getting rich. His famous answer, to do a little bit cleaned up, was that the hardest part isn't becoming a millionaire. is putting together the very first big chunk of capital, and that you basically have to do it the hard way. Now, you said that decades ago, so in today's money, the figure is quite a bit higher, but the principle is timeless, okay? That first milestone is uphill, and it's uphill on foot, powered almost entirely by your own effort and discipline. But once you cross it though, something shifts. Compounding starts doing more and more of working for you. You see, earlier on, your own contribution do nearly all the work, but later, the returns quietly takes over and start heavy lifting, which is why, strangely, going from its 100,000 to 200,000 tends to be faster than getting to the first 100 ever was, and 2 to 3 faster still. Not because you suddenly earn more, but because your money is finally working alongside you. So stop asking, what can I do with my money this year? And start asking, what am I building over the next 5 years, 20 years, taking decades, not in months? And here's the twist nobody warns you about. You'd assume the more money you have, the less pressure you feel to spend it. It's the opposite. The temptation actually gets stronger because as your income climbs, the circle quietly shifts underneath you. Suddenly you've got friends talking about private school, so you start wondering whether you should do the same. Then you move to a nicer neighborhood, and now your neighbors have nicer cars and take nicer holidays, and that becomes a cycle you see every single day. The pull to keep up has never been stronger than at the exact moment you finally have the means to give it to it. And this pattern is backed by real evidence. Large studies of spending find that people who spend more on luxury goods when they are surrounded by an unequal peer group, including high earners who feel low rank among the people right around them. This is hedonic adaptation work, the way your baseline just reset higher with every single upgrade. The thing that thrilled you last year quietly becomes normal, and now you need the next thing to fuel it again. A perfect good kitchen or a completely reliable car suddenly start to feel embarrassing purely because of what people around you just bought. So the tool here is one simple question about opportunity cost, okay? Before any big purchase, ask, what am I actually giving up by spending here instead of somewhere else? Because every dollar you pour into a more expensive car today is a dollar that can't compound for the next 3 decades. Try reframing it like this. At historical average return, $1,000 left alone to grow could become something like 10 times that over a few decades. Past returns are never a promise, but sit with that reframe for a second, right? That $1,000 upgrade might actually really be costing you $10,000 of your entire future freedom. Now, if you ask yourself honestly, the answer is yes. This genuinely matters to me. This is the life I want to build. Now, wonderful. Buy it and enjoy it completely. The goal was never guilt here. The goal is that you choose consciously and on purpose. So let me leave you with the real point of all of this discipline, because it was never about deprivation. It's not about white knuckling your way through life, saying no to everything and calling that a virtue. The entire point of holding the line in these early years is to accumulate options. Every bit of lifestyle creep you resist now is a choice you're quietly handing to your future self. The discipline is what turns a good income into the ability to build a life on your own terms. The freedom to walk away from something that isn't working, to take risks, to have the time. The first 100,000 was a uphill and full. After this, if you just protect your engine and let it run, compounding does more and more of the climbing for you. And here's the quiet gift hidden inside all of it. Once you cross this line, you finally get to make these choices consciously, on purpose, instead of drifting into them, because it's what you've always done, and because it's what everyone around you is doing. True wealth was never really the stuff the money could buy. It is the freedom that comes from keeping enough of it to actually choose. I'll see you in the next one.